Welcome, Walnut. I'm Lara, but you can call me Laz, your host for Walnut Wednesday. This is your reminder to be brave, be yourself, and know that you can make the world a better place just by what you decide today. Here, I'm going to share my weekly walnuttings with you on a Wednesday. Hello, Walnut. It is me, Laz, here for another episode of Walnut Wednesday. I hope you have been surviving the week. This solo episode has taken me so long to record, not because I don't have any walnuttings to share or anything to say, but because I just had no moment or nothing to respond to. I sat here the other day and I stared blankly into the camera and I was like, I have so much to say, yet nothing at all. And I didn't have any mojo and I didn't have any oomph. And I had the reminder to come back to my human design and remember that I'm a sacral generator and my strategy in life is to respond. And I literally was sitting to record a podcast episode just because I had the time, but I had nothing, nothing to respond to. So I left it, obviously, because it wasn't very productive in any case. I was just sitting there blankly staring. So here I am, feeling fresh, and I wanted to share the story of the fresh feeling, Walnut. So, lately I have been feeling very doom and gloom, not only in like my postparticle being a new mum journey, but also I think Geordie and I have slipped back into old communication habits, which are not very walnutty, and we're not really. And I know that we've talked about already, like when you have a baby, relationships take a hit a little bit. Um, but we've just been, yeah, slipping back into old things that don't serve us. Hashtag tell me it's eclipse season without telling me it's eclipse season. By the time this airs, eclipse season will be over, so don't worry. If you've had a rough time, it should be over now. Um, but yeah, I was really in my feels and I wanted to share about something that happened to me just yesterday, with my darling, beautiful friend Bronte, who's been on the podcast. But we are such a pair of box checkers, if that kind of makes sense. Like we are really good at doing errands together while also being openly, vulnerably honest. And if we've got something on our mind and got something on our chest, we like have found this strange little safe haven in each other, to have that. So I do wish upon you, I was going to say Bron, I wish upon you, Walnut, if you have someone like that to maybe give them a call if you're feeling what I was feeling. Um, but it doesn't usually happen as spontaneous because we're both organized little bananas. We love lists, as you know, Walnut. We're all list people around here, all the things. But I was having a really, really rough few days, and it just so happened that I got a text saying, I got a text saying, hey, I need to go out this way. Do you want to come? And that is the area where we complete most of our errands. You know, we buy our quarterly stock of vitamins and all of the things. And I just so happened to have a voucher for this place and I needed to buy something for Louis. Like it just was like, actually, yes, yes, I do. Um, and so I had to obviously wait to do the parent thing and wait for Jordan to get home and blah, 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 blah. It turned out I could go spontaneously, which was amazing. Um, and I remember just like, because she drove, so she was picking me up. And I remember standing outside of my house, waiting to be picked up, trying not to cry, feeling like really doom and gloom, woe is me. Everything was heavy. I'm not going to air all my dirty laundry and all my problems, but just it was just one of those kind of weeks. I thought, a bit longer, but one of those little blips where life just feels hard, and the feeling of I hate my life comes to mind, and not in a I hate the situations or anything like that. It was just like everything was felt like a slog. Everything was hard. Everything was Yeah, it's really hard to describe, but I'm not going to get into all the nitty-gritty, but I'm sure you understand what I'm saying when when I say I felt like I was waiting to be picked up and trying not to cry because it just felt like so much. I was explaining the other day, it feels like so much, but then when I actually list the things out, it's not much at all, but it's so much bigger in your brain. You know, the whole like snowball thing, Walnut, that we've talked about before. Um, so anyways, I get collected. We we have no problem just going straight into the deep dive. So we have a little woosah. We have a little happy woosah as well. Then we do some retail therapy, but it's retail therapy for like necessities, like I say, like we're errand doing. So it's like it's restocking the things. Like I said, I needed to get an outfit for it. Like it was just checking a box, checking a box. And then it was like, have you had lunch? No. Should we get some lunch? And then it was like, what do you feel like? And she was like, I feel like this. And I was like, let's get that. And like there was a voucher for that. And everything just like was just seamlessly tick, tick. I'm just like imagining like a little checkbox highlighted, just knocking it off the list, and it was just seamlessly beautiful. I didn't have that feeling that I have with most adult conversations where I'm like, oh my God, why did I say that? Why did that come out of my mouth? No regrets, nothing, really just cup full. And I think I think what we both kind of needed, Walnut, was actually to get out of the house, actually a little change of scenery. And I like obviously talking to your friends and things is so important. But I think the actual physical act of not only racking up the credit card a little bit for necessities, but racking it up nonetheless. Um, so a bit of retail therapy. Um, but actually just removing yourself from an environment for a moment just to get fresh eyes. Um, on the drive there was very like heavy, just lots of like sighing, and on the drive back, we're cracking up, we're doing jokes, we're laughing, we like are really happy with our purchases, like well, everything worked out. Um, and it to me, Walnut, it just goes to show that sometimes just removing yourself from a little, not a situation, because I know that's not always possible, but just a change of scenery can sometimes just refresh the batteries a little bit. Um, and I think what sort of comes to mind is like the what's oh God. I talk and then it falls out my butt. I apologize. I was going to say that quote that's something about the definition of madness is if you expect something to if you expect something to change, but you always do the same thing or something like that. Um, where sometimes when you're in the cabin fever or you're in the environment, you're in the thing so much, it really you don't notice how like far in and deep you've been pulled into heavy feelings that like things are like kind of weighing you down. Um, that if you just kind of like stepped out, like my example is step out of my actual house, um, into a different environment, like going to like a shop that wasn't so busy. I don't like big busy malls, but um, that it really can like refresh you. That's what I'm trying to say. Well, that's all. I had another bit, didn't write it down. Never mind. But that's my walnutting this week is that I just think I got to a little place where things were really bogging me down, things were feeling really heavy, and the little refresh gave me a little bit of momentum. So much so, Walnut, that today I had like I had to message Geordie saying, I'm really sorry, I had a manic episode. And I like I measured the coffee table and the entertainment unit, and I measured the wall and just to see because everything's kind of plonked because now we have a baby, we just kind of like moved everything to make space for the baby to like flop around on the floor. Um, and it's everything is cluttered, everything is claustrophobical. Um, and it's been bothering me for a really, really long time, but I've never done anything about it because I've just been like just sitting here stewing in the feeling of letting it bother me. But I think that yesterday, that little refresh reset, I've obviously woken up feeling way optimistical. I sent Ron a message saying, "Oh my God, I'm in like such a good mood. Isn't this crazy? Blah blah blah. I love you so much, so grateful, blah 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 blah." All of the things. And Bron, if you're listening to this, I say it again. I love you. I'm grateful for you. Thank you so much. Um, Genuinely, thank you so much. Um, but I moved this furniture around after measuring it and vacuumed the floor, and there's just like this little, it's like only like maybe a meter or so of space, but my goodness me, Walnut, it feels so much more open. It feels so much more flowing. It feels like my lounge that doesn't really get any sun at all, apart from maybe about 15 minutes in the morning. It feels brighter. Um, so yeah, the reset really, really helped my me to get a bit of motivation to like declutter and make and create some space. The reset itself created some space within my brain, obviously. So, um, yeah, something I'm responding to and sharing as my walnutting, but something that I think might be quite helpful, or you might get a little tidbit out of this because I feel like $1 million, and I'm just so lucky that I have um people like this in my life. I'm just incredibly grateful. So, Walnut, this is your reminder. Um, if you have your person, your safe space, give them a little ring and just tell them that you love them. But also, if you're feeling really claustrophobic, or if you're feeling really super stuck, try a little shift in the environment, maybe a walk or just something that um, where that looks, smells, feels, sounds different to the space that you're currently in, if that makes any kind of sense at all. So like, I don't know, if it's work that's really bogging you down, can you take a mental health day? And maybe like go sit at the park, or I don't know, or go for a drive somewhere that you haven't been before, try a new restaurant. Just try something to, yeah, get a change of scenery. Get a change of scenery. I'm saying the same thing over and over again, but I'm just, as you can tell, Walnut, the energy is so different. If you had talked to me yesterday, Walnut, you'd be like, is she okay? Does she, Laz, what do you need? You'd be like, what on earth? So, um, yeah, I hope I'm I'm like waving my hands around, Walnut, if you're not watching, but I'm just sprinkling some of the vibe to you. So have a wonderful week. Have a happy Walnut Wednesday, and I will talk to you next week. Bye.